Yeah. Mm.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Shakey's Cricketing Journeys. Now, today I've got a very, very special guest, somebody who I go way, way back with. I feel a bit bit shy in front of him now because he's such a big worldwide star. Today I'm joined by none other than champion Daren Sammy. How's it going, Sammy boy?
What's up, Shaky boy? What's up, bro? How's
Good to
life,
see you,
man?
man. Good to see you. Now, before we continue, I want to say Eid Mubarak. You can see I've got my Shalwar kameez on, and my man Daren Sami, he's
Me too,
also turned
brother.
up in the Shalwar
Me
kameez.
too, me too.
I love it,
Me
my
too.
man. I love
Eid,
it.
Eid Mubarak, man.
Yeah,
Eid
Mubarak, my brother.
Mubarak to
Yeah,
you,
Mubarak.
brother.
Yeah, Mubarak.
Have a feast, bro.
No, we obviously just were talking before we came on to recording there, and I was saying to you, it seems like just yesterday. I'd met you. Time has flown by.
Yes, man. I think it was a crucial part in my career when we met, man. MCC Young Cricketers, I am Hostel in Hampstead, Clive Radley and all these guys. I think that was a point in my career where I really made the switch over. That experience in London was amazing. And as youngsters,
Yeah.
having to train at Lord's cricket grounds every
Wow.
day, man.
Wow.
Cricketers dream of that,
Yeah, absolutely.
and to
Absolutely.
have that at our disposal, it was amazing, man.
So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into our time together and a couple of funny stories that I remember from back
Yeah,
then. But before we get into that, I want to take you back. I want to go right back to the start. So you're born, Daren Sammy,
mm,
born on the 20th of December, 1983. You're born in the
yeah,
lovely island of St. Lucia. And
yes.
I wanted to just pick your brains and put it over to you and just tell me about your early cricketing days and what your childhood was like.
Yeah, I was the first of a family of five. My two other siblings. Growing up in St. Lucia, the countryside. Growing up in an era where cricket, West Indies cricket dominated, the
Yeah.
world. Where cricket was the number one sport being played in the Caribbean,
Mhm.
and our team West Indies, was empowering black people all over the world and entertaining fans across the world. So, that was my first love. And as far back as I could remember, my father loved it. My cousin, Ignatius, played for the national team, which is St. Lucia,
Mhm.
and I just fell in love with cricket from ever since I could remember. We played in the streets, in the backyards, and yeah, I've never stopped until now.
So when did you start realizing that you had a talent for the game? What kind of early team was it that you played for in your kind of childhood?
I think most of us, as sportsmen, when we kids, we play as fun.
Yeah,
We're looking to have it to enjoy the game, play it with for fun because
yeah,
it's exciting. You and your peers, you guys are playing. Not you don't think about it as a career until maybe you start playing competitively at the school level,
hmm,
where the scouts and the coaches are telling your mom, no, this kid is really good, your son is really good, your coach is telling you got a career out of that. And obviously you gain older, developing an even more love and a greater passion for the sport. And then you start seeing your heroes and your idols. Like for me, it was Brian Lara and Quickly Ambrose. And when they show all these guys, you want to meet these guys, you want to do what they're doing.
yeah, yeah.
So I think as at secondary school level, probably 10, 11, 12, thereabout, when you really understand you're playing against other schoolmates,
Hmm.
and it now becomes competitive. You're thinking, yeah, if you work really hard, well, from my example, I used to say if I could make West Indies like Sachin made international cricket at 16, 17, if I could do that, I could actually meet Quickly Ambrose.
Yeah,
So thoughts like that started creeping in my head,
yeah.
and then the rest was just focus. Of course, other people help you out along the way to get to achieve your goals. And like you said, we met in 2004, I think, or three.
No, we met actually
London.
before. We met actually before then. Before we go,
Yes,
I'll
I know.
I'll take you down. I'll take you down memory lane now.
How could I forget?
So
I know where we met first, man.
First and foremost, we share the same idols because Brian Lara, being a left-handed batsman, I used to spend hours on end watching the Prince bat. He was
he was a gem, man.
He was obviously you had two great players. You had Sachin, you had Brian Lara. And in my opinion, when they have the argument, it's like discussing Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. When they discuss these two guys, I always have just tipped Lara, because the thing about Lara was, it was the way Lara used to win the match single-handedly.
Oh, yes,
and he went through a period with the West Indies as well, where the team
was only whom? Only him.
Oh, the match he beat Australia, when him and Courtney Walsh were batting at the end.
That 153 not out, bro. That's my favorite. That is my favorite. You're right. And that's what I always tell people. Sachin had Dravid, Sehwag, Lachman, all these guys around him. Lara probably had Chanderpaul, who was not really at that level.
Not at that, not elite, just under elite level.
Yeah. So that Lara is my favorite batsman of all time.
Yeah, he's a master. He's just unbelievable. I love him. He actually played in a game recently in Australia, and he hit a couple of shots, and I was like, I brought back my childhood.
Man, that's why they tell you class is permanent, man.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, brother, you jumped forward there, and I want to remind you, we met, first of all.
Let me tell you where we met.
Okay.
We met on the 19 World Cup, no?
Yes.
In 2002 in New Zealand.
That's right.
When West Indies played Scotland.
West Indies stumped Scotland. You gave us you gave us the royal spanking. We played at Dunedin. Dunedin. That was the day my bowling career ended. I bowled 1 over for 19. Donovan Pagan hit me.
I think he scored 180, right? Pagan probably scored 180 odd in that.
176. Lendl Simmons scored 100. Dwayne Bravo got 50. Yeah, so then we came out to bat, and I got a nice little 40, and I was going well. Until this guy.
I got you out LBW.
Bowled
on.
Yes, you bowled me. You nipped one back. I went to drive, and you bowled me. But where our memory probably came was back in the hotel, because you used to laugh when you came to the MCC. You used to say to me, "Man, we used to see this man walking around the hotel thinking he black." I used to be rapping.
That is true. Yes, you always. I guess now you've told me Lara was your favorite guy. I guess that stems from loving the West Indian style of play. Because you came out with that little bit of swagger.
Yeah.
In you, and I guess with them these times with DMX and all these guys rapping.
Ja Rule.
Ja Rule. Yes, that is correct. Ja Rule and Ashanti and all of them. I think you gravitated towards them, and you always around the hotel rapping. I even think you had one of those there's basketball jerseys, like
LA basketball.
You see? I don't forget, man.
You got good memory, bro. Good memory. Yeah. I used to wear baggy white joggers, the basketball top. I used to walk in. I used to think I was proper gangster.
That is so true. Ooh.
So we moved on.
Yes.
Did I know? I hadn't spoken to you. I mean, I'd spoken to you a little bit in the hotel, but I didn't know you were coming. It wasn't until I'd been at the MCC, and I'd been there about 2 or 3 weeks, and I came out one morning. And I was coming to the bus stop.
Yeah.
I got to the bus stop, and there's this tall black man sitting on the chair there. And I looked and I said, "Oh, what's happening, man?" And we all recognized each other. And you were like,
we were waiting for the 46 bus.
The 46 bus. That's So Darren, tell me,
Gosh, man.
that was the first early stages. You'd just come early.
Yeah.
You were also a young boy coming from the Caribbean,
Yes, yes.
coming over
Remember,
to London.
we came from the under 19s, man. You know, so in the World Cup and fast forward 2 years later, you know, we were at Lords, and
Yeah.
you know, this came about, you know, the St. Lucia Cricket Association with some of the government, Minister of Sports and Tourism back then. You know, we were preparing for 2007 World Cup.
Yeah.
At that time, where St. Lucia had no West Indian cricketers as yet.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they formed a committee and they decided, you know what, we're going to look for the top 4 cricketers on island and try to get him a scholarship to go at Lords,
Yeah.
you know, with the MCC young cricketers.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting that, you know. So I was there more or less, you know, as a tryout to see where my level at, you know, trying to push my development, you know. Before that, the only time I traveled outside the Caribbean was when we went to New Zealand for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you saw me, man. I bowled so many overs.
Oh,
I was bowling one and
you were
non-stop.
like
I was.
you could tell that you were there for a reason. You were hungry.
Mhm.
You were.
Yes, I
I
was,
wish
man.
I was as hungry. I was hungry, but
Yeah.
I think my attitude then, if I'm being honest, when I look back now, if I'm honest, I took it a bit for granted. I'm just honest. I don't deny. I think
Yeah.
I should have
Well,
had that little bit. I was too much, you
yeah,
know,
well,
enjoying
the thing is,
other areas.
uh, let me tell you, the thing is, when you grow up the way most of us grow up in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
and you get one opportunity where you move from, you know, the little islands to the so-called first world country,
Mhm.
and you see what's available. Like, man, I was at Lords. You know how many cricketers that play their career and don't get to set a foot on the green grass
Yeah.
of Lords?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We were there every day, man.
Every
Lords was
day, man.
our home. You
Every
know,
day.
so for me, in itself, that was something massive and nothing. I was already focused to become that first solution.
Mhm.
So everything was really zoned in to better myself, better become more developed and improve on my game. So I was really hungry. You know,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
what you were exposed to as a first world country, I wasn't really exposed to that as yet.
Yeah.
So my drive was to take out myself and my family from the situation we were at home.
Mhm.
You know, maybe you were okay, you could have done without cricket.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
So the energy and the focus and the determination was completely different. But we did have fun. You
Oh
know, I
yeah. Yeah.
mean,
Well, you
we
remember
did.
you used to come to my room. So you're talking
Yeah.
about DMX and Ja Rule and everything else. I used to have that little boom box. You used to come to
Yes,
my room,
yes.
and I used to stand and I used to do the rap and Ja, always on time, baby.
And then, you know, and then Stephen Outerbridge came after,
Even
man.
Outerbridge, yeah, the Bermuda
Yes, yes,
Panther. That's right.
yes.
That's right.
Man, I'm telling you, I remember, I tell people those days, and that's why all the guys, when we hook up on Facebook, as you see, you posted something recently.
Yeah.
But a funny story, remember that first day of training? Well, my first day of training at the MCC Young Cricketers, I'm fired up to bat in the net.
Yeah.
At that time, this time there, I wasn't batting with helmet.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
In those times.
Yeah.
And then, just before I was batting next, and Barry Hooper broke Stephen Snell's jaw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right.
Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm here about to go into bat. I'm seeing this kid running in, you know, bowling quick. He
Yeah.
says he's bowling quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm ready to bat without a helmet. And just before my run comes, Stephen Snell gets
That
a
was a
bumper
bad
from
one.
Barry
I remember
Hooper.
that. Yeah.
And fractured, broke his jaw through a few places, man. And I'm going to bat now, and I'm tapping my bat in Stephen Snell's blood, man. I was like, yo,
That's right.
this thing.
You got it.
I think
I did
think
remember that, but you've totally just brought it back in my
yeah,
memory.
and I think from there I realized, yo, this is gonna be serious. This level that I'm about to embark on is something that's gonna take me forward.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a blessing in disguise for me that it happened right now at the very first practice session at Lords at MCC to change my focus and put it even in a more serious manner. That these things, there's no Mickey Mouse, man. This is the real stuff.
My other memories of you at the MCC, there was one time we had, it rained outside, we had to go indoors, and I had to face you and Barry Hooper on the faraway net, indoor net at Lords, and shit, man, the ball was flying. I mean, Hoops used to just run in and bowl as quick as he can. So you didn't, you know, you were obviously, you were shaping it. You used to bowl the inside.
Yes, I was more swinging.
You were also bowling a good.
And at that time, I had a little bit. I had a little bit of something, you know, because that's what I tell guys. England changed me in a way. Once I started playing club cricket, you know, sometimes I used to bowl like non-stop. So I cut my run up from, I remember it used to be 22, and I cut it to 16.
Yeah.
And when I went back home after that first season, I tried to go back to 22. I just couldn't get it done, and I just put my focus more on line and length and sacrifice pace.
Yeah. No, I remember when you first came over, Sammy. You were running in. I mean, I can tell in your international game what you're saying. You changed it up eventually, and you started being more of a shape. But when you first came over, you were used to fairly.
I was bustling in, man.
Bustling in. Obviously, you got great experience there of bowling at test players as well. We used to get the chance to bowl at test players in the nursery ground.
And that is one of the beauties. Not only we're playing against county players, you know, second 11 guys who probably injured trying to get back into the first team, but when the test teams came through at Lords, we were bowling against Jack Callis and these guys. I remember you used to count and see, how many of those we got in our pockets, man.
My biggest memory is I got to bowl at there was one day I bowled at England. You remember? You might remember. I used to bowl the left armers.
Yes.
I got Michael Vaughan and Nasser Hussain out that morning. Nasser Hussain went mental and went, "This wicket's crap. I'm not batting on this wicket." And I was like, "Happy day." And Nasser Hussain doesn't want to bat against me.
That was it, man. Bowling at Freddie and Peterson and all these guys, man. You were like, yeah. That is it, man. That's the dream. Why wouldn't any young man come through here and try to be, make the best out of that opportunity? And I think, I grabbed it, man. And Clive Radley and Dawkins and all these guys who went Dawkins, they were phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
they gave me that push.
Raj was a great man. He, I don't know if you know what happened with me in the end. I resigned. I was having a couple of problems. I resigned and I went back to Scotland. And Raj,
yes, you left. You didn't finish.
I should have. Looking back, I should have. I just made a silly decision in my life. But Raj, when I was leaving, he said to me, "You've got a really good chance of getting a county contract. You need to stay here," because at that point I'd scored some good runs against Middlesex just very recently. It is what it is. I was lucky. I still went on to play for my country, played in a T20 World Cup. I had some great. But I do look back and it's a bit of a bittersweet because I think at that point I maybe just prematurely maybe left. I should have just came and sat next to you and said, "Sammy, bro, what should I?"
Yes, man. Don't let anybody stop you from achieving what you want to, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
We live and we learn.
So I want to move on. Let's get into your career now. We've talked the old memories. The listeners now know how we know each other. I've had so many people messaging me saying, "Bro, how do you know Daren Sammy?" I'm like, "Me and Sammy, we're like brothers, man."
Back in the day, man. Back in the day.
So you made your ODI debut, brother, 2004 against Bangladesh. First St. Lucian, proud moment to play for the big stage, the West Indies. Tell me how you felt.
Actually, my official debut got washed out against New Zealand earlier that year in June. But yes, fast track September 9th, I think it was,
Yeah.
um, uh, 2004 in the Champions Trophy.
Yeah.
You know, first game for West Indies against Bangladesh. Yeah, Gus Logie and Brian Lara, who's my idol,
Yeah.
you know, told me the night before that I would be playing.
Oh wow.
Man, shaky boy, I couldn't sleep that night, man.
Oh, I bet you couldn't.
Every time I closed my eyes, I just like was visualizing what I wanted to happen, and I would be up. I was like, look at, finally, St. Lucian, what I've worked so hard for is
Yeah.
gonna happen. And yes, I was praying for rain not to fall, because that's what happened the, the first time I
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
set foot on that same ground. It was at the Rose Bowl, in Hampshire, and in South Hampshire it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I step on that field that day, bro, against Bangladesh, oh, and Brian Lara gave me. At first, he said to me, go to gully. Now I always I feel that in first slips, young
Yeah. Yeah.
young
Yeah. Yeah.
cricketers, gully, took some blinders there as
Yeah.
well. But when you have Gale and Lara and Sawan and Wavell Hines, all these guys, I'm thinking you'll tell me go to meet off a foot man or find
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah.
He says, youngster, you go to gully. I was like, man, and then Mervyn Dillon bowls a ball, and I think Tapish Baisha, one of them that used to open for Bangladesh,
Yeah.
flicked the ball. And I just saw it in my peripheral vision, and I decided, you know what? Let me go.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go, you don't know. And I
Yeah.
stretched
Yeah.
out my hands, hit my hand, it fell on my neck, and I caught it in my armpit. Beautiful catch.
Yeah.
Nerves gone. I ended up taking two more catches, and then I bowled 7 overs, I think, and took 2 for 19. Yeah, 1 for 19. And man, that was the best day of my life, man. Playing, getting the chance to wear that maroon number 88 on my back, crossing the ropes.
How was so? It
Amazing.
sounds like obviously Brian Lara was very encouraging to you to put you at gully. He obviously
Yeah.
were you welcomed into the changing room? Did you feel comfortable?
Yes, because the Bravo was there, which we played on the 19 with.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had Corey Collymore, Merv Dillon, all these guys which I played first class cricket against before against. And I played a President 11 game, which Brian I didn't do much. I played against him probably 3 times before that. But my personality has always been one that into people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've always been a people's person. So I was just happy being there, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the
I
same
bet you
dressing
will.
room
Yeah.
as Brian. So and being the only St. Lucian, I couldn't say I would turn to, okay, I will go to my countryman here. I just, with everybody,
Yeah.
Chris Gale, Mervyn Dillon, like I said, Corey Collymore, even Wavell Hines, all these guys, youngster, they shower you, they
No, that's
look
good.
after
That's
you,
good to know. That's good to know.
So,
So basically
so that was good.
your first memory was a very beautiful memory then. You bowled well, you got a couple of catches, you played with guys
Yes, and we did. Yeah,
you played with your heroes. You got to play with
yes,
you played with your idol. That's a dream achieved right there and then. So you moved on,
right there.
and then in 3 years later, 2007, you got to make your test debut versus England, and you bowled figures 7 for 66. The best figures in a first test, I believe, since a chap called Alf Valentine back in 1950. Yeah. Now, how did that feel?
That felt amazing. And it really set the tone for me, because I made that game, I played that one game back in 2004, and I didn't play again. I never played for West Indies again. I played a couple 18 matches, but then after Lara retired in 2007, they reshuffled the test squad, and here I was, I got an opportunity in the third test in Manchester.
Mhm.
You know, I was already in England playing for Crampton in the Lancashire Cricket League. So I was already used to the conditions,
Yeah.
you know, and I remember the first innings, well, before that, Sir Clive Lord gave me my cap, 266. Imagine this, my test number is 266. So he gave me my cap, big achievement, a St. Lucian play test cricket. And then,
Another legend as well. Sir Clive
yes,
Lord.
yes, yes. And then he, I remember scoring 1 run, I think, in the first inning and taking one for 19 or so, thereabout in the first innings. Then I remember listening to the highlights. And one of my heroes as well, I didn't get to see him play much, but from hearing my dad speak about it, Mikey Holding. He
Ooh.
was on, he was, he, but it, he was on air and he said, when he heard that I was making my debut and Daren Powell wasn't going to play, he went to bed with a nightmare. And then when he woke up, he he really hoped that this night it was that nightmare was over. So that kind of
Ooh.
like wow,
Yeah, that's a bit pressure.
that's piercing the soul, man.
Yeah, yeah,
But then the Almighty has a special way of working things out for you.
yeah.
Second innings, I remember bowling a marathon spell for Daren Ganga. England leading by almost 200 plus 300. And Bravo gave Peterson a bouncer, hit his helmet off,
Oh,
fell
that,
on the
yeah, yeah,
stump.
yeah, yeah. He came
I
down the
was
wicket.
bowling in, yes, I was bowling in partnership with Bravo at that time. And the balls just started to reverse or shape,
Yeah.
some shape on it. And I got Ian Bell out caught behind. Next ball, Matt Pryor caught behind.
Oof.
2 balls later, Liam Plunkett is gone. I earlier in the morning I got Michael Vaughan out caught on ball. Then Paul Collingwood, Ryan Sidebottom,
Nice.
Stephen Hammerson.
Oof.
Oh man, it was just like
Michael
a dream
Holding,
come true, man.
Michael Holding seen Daren Sammy in his dreams that night.
The funny thing is, right? So after the day's play, guess who has to come and interview me?
Michael Holding. Did you say to him,
That,
am I still
I
your worst
know.
nightmare?
No, no, no. I have a lot of respect for the greats,
Yeah.
but it was good. It was good to really like, yeah. Never doubt me, man. I'm a
Yeah.
child of God.
Yeah. Well, what a
Yeah,
moment. What a moment. You then went on. Um, you became the West Indies captain. Not so
yeah.
long after
2010.
2010, which wow, like your career really went. I mean, it was 2002. I played against you in the Under 19 World Cup. 2010, Daren Sammy becomes the West Indies captain. What a moment! Not only the first St. Lucian to play for the West Indies, but the first captain. I mean, what did you see that coming? Did you have a feeling that was going to happen?
No, I had no clue. Because like I said, my dream has always been to represent the West Indies. Not once did I thought like I want to be captain or I can captain West Indies. I was captain in my first class team, which was the Windward Islands. I had captaincy experience. I captained St. Lucia for a number of years. But West Indies, I never saw it. I was playing with guys like Chris Gale, Ramnar Sawan, Bravo, Shivnar and Shindapal. All these
Much
guys
senior,
who are
much more senior
much
to you.
senior. So to be even considered as a leader, as a captain, that was a massive achievement. So when it was handed over to me, it was a very difficult decision to make, because being captain of a test team when you've only played 9 test matches,
Yeah.
at that time, Shiv Narayan probably had 80 something plus. Gail had 80 something, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
big ask. It's a big ask.
a big ask, and I must admit it was the toughest decision for me and the toughest period for me in my career. But you know, Daren don't back down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom has always raised me to believe in myself, you
Mhm.
know, and know that once I believe, and I could achieve, you know, and I've worked hard. And one thing my mom always said growing up, because the way we grew up tough, she always said, the Almighty never put you in a position that He knows you can't handle.
So, yeah.
You
Same,
understand?
same,
So
same
all
as
those
Muslims. Same as
yes.
Muslims.
So
We are taught the same thing.
so
The Almighty will test you as
there
much
you
as you
go.
can handle.
Yes. So my strong faith, you know, allowed me to take on the challenges, and yeah, it was tough in the beginning. Criticism, and you know, West Indies was in a period of rebuilding. Well, we still are, but you know, a lot of things was happening, especially during the test team. So,
Did you ever
but
get? Did
I
you ever
was up
get?
for the challenge.
Did you ever get a bit of a backlash from some of the senior boys and certain decisions that you made on the pitch?
Yeah, well, yeah, well. The thing is, with my style of leadership, it was not it was not all about Darren. You know,
Yeah.
it was never about that actually.
Yeah.
You know, my style of leadership was around team building,
Hmm.
you know, motivating, inspiring, you know, making sure everyone feel like they have an equal, you know, part
Hmm.
uh, in the team and they are all important, you
Hmm.
know. So when when the game is flowing, it's easy to captain.
Yeah.
You know, when everything is going right, you know, the team is 80 for 6, you know, it's all good. You be captain.
Yeah.
You know, is when the chips are down and you're looking at ways to get a breakthrough, make a, you know, motivate somebody to, you know, keep on going. That's when I thought I was at my best, you know, because my inner strength, being able to inspire, you know, that's what that was one of my strengths. And I always, you know, when the pressure situation came, you know, I never tried to rush it. You know, I always incorporated the senior players,
Hmm.
you know, in the decision making. Obviously, the buck stops with me, but
Hmm.
I never once, you know, seated myself like this is how it's supposed to be done. That's why we have team meetings and planning, and I always try to execute in that way with myself and my teammates.
Yeah. I mean, you had a beautiful time as captain. I mean, you. We'll go on to talk about some other things that happened down the line, but you had a good 6 years as captain, which is a successful
Yeah,
amount of time to captain your
yeah,
country. Um,
yes,
but I
yes.
want to then go into the first big success that you had, and that was the 2012 T20 World Cup. Daren Sammy leading the West Indies into the tournament. First time the West Indies win a trophy in I think 8 years at that time,
Since my debut back in 2000
and the
and 4,
Champions Trophy.
Champions Trophy.
Talk to me about
Yeah.
it, man. Talk to me about it. How did you? Were you confident going into the tournament? I mean, you guys are made for the West Indies are made for T20 cricket. You've got such a I always think the West Indies' biggest challenge in recent times has been their Test cricket. It's that concentration,
Yeah,
staying on the wicket. But
yeah,
when it comes to T20, it's Caribbean flavour. You know, it's made. You guys are made for it.
I'm telling you. Yeah. To answer your question, within the team and the squad, coaches involved included, we believe we could win.
Yeah,
But you know, outside, they never gave us a chance.
yeah,
And for some reason, we've always thrived, especially in the T20 setup when, you know, they class us as underdogs. But myself as captain, I'm watching Gale, Johnson Charles, Dwayne Bravo, Pollard, Russell,
Marlon
Sammy,
Samuels,
Samuels,
one of my favourite players.
Samuels, you know, Badri,
Still, still.
Narine, Fidel Edwards, Ravi Rampal, you know. I'm looking at all of these talents in the dressing room and I'm saying, how could they not give us a chance to win?
Yeah.
You know, once we play to our full potential, there's nobody stopping us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the message being put around, you know, in the dressing room. And look, the first two games rained out, understand? But we, because of the way the system was, we came through on points. And then the Super Six, uh, we had to beat England, which we did. And then we needed Sri Lanka to defeat England for us to qualify for the semis, you know. And then once we got to the semis, we Australia, we scored I think 190 or 200 and bowled them out for under 100, I think. And then the big finals where we play in the host Sri Lanka in Colombo, you know, having us on the back foot. You know, after 10 overs, I think we were just about 30 something or 40 something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the power play, we were like 14 for 3 or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
And Malan Samuels, you know, plays that gem of an inning,
Yeah.
you know, disposing, dispatching Malinga to all parts of the world. I think he hit him for about 5 6s.
Yeah.
You know, and that was the first time anybody had the better of Malinga in any format.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember going into bat, Malan got out, the score was probably 90,
Yeah.
and he had 70 something out of it. And myself and Ramdin took the score to 132 or 133, thereabouts. And we left the first inning with the momentum.
Yeah.
And T20 is all about momentum. If the
Mm-hmm.
more you could keep the momentum in your favor,
Mm-hmm.
the better your chance of winning. So we went in the dressing room thinking, yes, from the position we were to get to 130, that is
We're
a
in the
winning
game.
score.
We're in the game.
Yeah, we're in the game. While I think Sri Lanka is thinking, oh, they shouldn't have scored 100.
Yeah.
You know, and then we were really tight. Once we got Sangakkara out, and then Narain got Jaiwadna out, you know, the rest was history. Everybody chipped in, you know, myself, 2 overs, 2 for 6, you know, Bravo, you know, Rampal.
Yeah.
But Rampal started it off. That out swinger he gave to Telikaratne Dilshan, knocking the off pole,
Yeah.
not just like really set the tone for us
Yeah.
defending that target. So, you know, fast track with all the criticism and everything, they're giving me that World Cup trophy, man.
Yeah.
And lifting up that trophy, it felt like I was lifting up the burden, the stress I went through the last 2 years.
Yeah.
When I lifted that trophy, I felt like I lifted up all that stress off my shoulder,
Wow.
all that weight off my shoulder, you know, and it was the beginning of something special in my captaincy.
You know, yes, well, you go on. You go on now. Now, this is a really interesting World Cup for me. 2016, when Champion was launched. You know, I've never, you know, I was working in a job at that point, and my colleagues, they never knew anything about cricket. They knew nothing about cricket. By the end of the World Cup, me and my colleagues were sitting in the office and they were all singing "Champion, Champion." No, I mean, there's a movement.
It is.
There's a
It
movement
is.
from that. But what's very interesting about that World Cup, Sammy, you guys went there with no backing from the board. You pretty much went into the competition as a bunch of guys who you had one manager. I think you said in your interview that we didn't even have any outfits. We had nothing to wear. Talk to me about how you actually got things started. Did you, this manager, the gentleman that was managing you, how did this all start to work, and why did the board? There's always been a bit of a fallout between players and in the Caribbean and the board. What unfortunately what happened there?
Yeah, well, we were into contractual disagreements.
Yeah.
What had happened, even before that in 2014 in India, when the guys, when the tour was called off
Yeah.
because of,
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
contracts. So it has, from then it was a back and forth with the board, players' contracts. And one thing that was always, you know, a joy for West Indian cricketers was the revenue from, ICC events.
Mm-hmm.
And what had happened, they changed the pay structure
Mm-hmm.
for that World Cup,
Mm-hmm.
in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
In all the World Cups, including the ICC, ODIs, and T20s, there was a format being paid to the players.
Yep.
There was a structure in which the pay structure, the pay was being given to the players. But with the bitterness, the bitterness between board and cricketers and players, you know, we found ourselves in a situation where they were forcing us to sign a contract that we didn't agree to.
Yep.
So me as captain, I was the one going back and forth, talking to I think it was the CEO back then,
Mm-hmm.
and we finally. But it's one thing I always said to the guys that this could be our last World Cup for
Yep.
many of us because the next one would have been this year,
Yep.
and we cannot boycott the event. We have, no matter what happened, we have to go out and play.
Yep.
The manager was Roy Lewis back then. We had a preseason camp in Dubai because most of us were playing in the PSL then.
Yep.
It finished, so we just had the camp in Dubai. Upon arriving in Kolkata, I remember for the World Cup, uniforms were not there. No, just a whole sort of mix up. We were playing
So were you all funding? Were you
in
all
the hot
funding
sun.
yourself? Were you all funding yourself then? All you guys were pretty much.
Well, I wouldn't say funding ourselves, but it's hard to play cricket in India
Yeah.
without without the caps and the proper
Yeah.
uniforms.
Yeah.
And it's not only us. The women team went through it as well. They were not as outspoken as us,
Yeah.
but they were speaking to me about what was happening.
Yeah.
And I know the manager left the hotel. Roy Lewis was a really good manager. Well, he is. Go up in a factory, driving for hours to have the shirts, put together, man.
Last minute. Last
The thing
minute.
is, talking about it now, because I've moved on. It seems like I'm bringing up, spill. I'm crying over spilled milk.
Yeah.
So because and then the whole new administration has taken over, and I don't think that the board I'm talking about now is
It's the
not
same
that
board.
board that is
Yeah.
is here. So it feels a little way like, like I said, I've kind of moved on from it, and I hardly talk about that sad
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it had to happen for us to be as motivated as we were during 2016.
Yeah.
After the board, it was literally us against the world.
Yeah.
Our board didn't really care. Then people were calling us brainless. We play like a bunch of cricketers without brains or
Yeah.
whatever they said. Nobody gave us a chance. And I just found it hard to believe. We had players dominating the T20 circuit
Yeah. Throughout
in
all the
our in
contacts.
our team, across the globe. The last 3 or 4 T20 World Cups, we always finish in the final 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't understand why they were not giving us the respect
Mm-hmm.
that we deserve. But then we always use that as motivation. And I remember saying to the guys, the only way we could speak up is when you are winners. And then I think when Bravo launched that song Champion, who launched a song Champion before a tournament even plays?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that helped, like, was a glue
Yeah.
that kept the team together.
Yeah.
and then it became part of the team's culture and team's anthem.
Well,
You know, and
the video I remember in particular, I think it was a
after
semi-final,
semi-finals,
and you've got the iPod dock, and you coming out the bus, Bravo's with you, and you're doing the champion, and you're doing it, and the ladies team, I think a few of their players, they joined
yes,
you in celebration,
yes,
and
yes,
you guys were just
yes.
rocking the hotel,
Man,
and
it
the
was it.
energy that you guys were bringing. But you as captain in
Listen,
particular, you changed
yeah,
things, and a view of what a captain, the captains always have, people have this view, captain should be very serious, you were the
no,
big,
no,
you were dancing the most, and your team was
yeah,
following in your energy, and it
yeah.
showed on the pitch.
It is. Because they have different styles of leadership.
Yeah,
There's no one correct way to lead. At the end of the time, at the end of the day, as long as you're working towards the common goal of the team and the success,
yeah,
that's what's important. And for me, incorporating my teammates, you know, being with them, you know, um, and building a team, building that team spirit, building that belief in my team, you know, one for all for one type of mentality, that never say die attitude. That's the type of um, characteristics that I portray, as a leader, and that's what I try to instill in my team. Although we have different characters
yeah,
in the dressing room, but everybody was on par as to winning.
yeah,
You know, if you bring this from your side, and I bring that from my side, we all could put it together towards the cause,
yeah.
which is team comes first and winning. And yeah, remember having a conversation with Phil before the tournament started, and he was saying, in order for us to win, we will have to beat India. Because India was playing some really good cricket
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah,
So we said, whether it be in the semifinals or finals, anybody that has to win has to go through India.
yeah,
And it was India in the semifinals. And the way we played, we were just building confidence, building up our confidence game after game. And once we won India, we all believed that we could have done it, but
I
not in the
remember.
manner.
I remember in particular the universe boss, Chris Gale.
Mhm.
He's normally quite chilled out. You don't, but he was, when you won the semi-final. He was pumped. You and him were like
Yeah,
proper embracing. He's punching. He fell over actually. He fell over. But it was, as a fan watching on. It was a special time. And then obviously you went into the World Cup final against England.
yeah,
England were also a top team at that. You're both serious teams, and
yeah,
it came down
yeah.
to the famous
Cal-
the famous Ian Bishop commentary at the end.
yes.
But again, one of my favourite players for the West Indies, always has been. I think he's very underrated. Is Marlon Samuels, and again,
Mm.
Marlon Samuels rose to the occasion when you needed him. That was a very important knock.
Yes, it's Malan has really make made that name for himself. The higher the stakes, the more he comes out.
Yeah,
And 2012, and even in 2014, when that Duckworth, when we had a hailstorm in Bangladesh playing the semifinals against Sri Lanka,
yeah,
and they went on to the finals and won against India,
yeah,
but we lost to them via the Duckworth Lewis,
yeah.
because
That's right.
Marlon Samuels and myself was there where we needed 66 in 6 overs.
That's right. Yeah,
We still believe that we would have gotten that, but that's for another show. But Marlon's temperament, has proven that, you know, in big games he turns up,
yeah,
and if that is something you cannot take away from Marlon Samuels, and he's played a special part in me as captain winning 2 World Cups.
yeah,
Obviously, but little things that happen, throughout, the tournament, at certain stages, different people came up, showed that it was really a team. Obviously, they will have you will need individual brilliance one time to pull you through. And again, Marlon Samuels did it stable the inning, and then Carlos Brathwaite in his first World Cup.
Carlos
I didn't
Brathwaite. Wow.
remember the name.
Remember the name, Carlos
Yes.
Brathwaite.
So that in itself was something special. None of us foresee that we didn't see that would happen. To hit 4 sixes in a World Cup final, to win.
Unbelievable.
That is miraculous, man. That is heavenly.
Yeah.
Only the man above the Almighty.
He didn't even look like he was hitting it that hard. He was just like just lofting it, and these things were going miles.
I'm telling you, there was one. I think the first 6 went over deep backward square leg. The second one, I think, went over long off.
Yeah,
but he looked like he played a flick.
Yeah,
over mid on, and it went over mid off. So, it was just after all what we went through. When I sit back and look at all what that team went through, it just had to happen that we won that match. Hard luck to England, but it was there for us. 2016 was our year. The under-19s won, the women won earlier that night, and for us to put the curtains down on that night, it was just amazing. One of the greatest days of my career.
I remember, obviously you celebrated in true Caribbean style. You had the song, great, amazing confidence to launch that song before the tournament, but it was perfect for when you won, because you had, and then the beautiful thing was the women's team won the World Cup as well. So you had both teams celebrating together. Such a beautiful moment. And then I remember,
amazing.
Obviously, I'm friends with you on social media. And the next day, or next morning, you came on to it was just you in your hotel room, and you did a video. And man, it was like a tearful one watching it, because you could see the emotion. You were just like,
yes,
you've gone to this height, and then you're now just trying to process what's just happened here.
Yeah, it's true, because that's why I always tell people, no matter what, belief is a hell of a thing. If you walk in this world without any belief, you as good as dead.
Yeah.
Because nothing will happen without that self-belief. You can't expect people to have more belief in yourself than yourself. That's where it starts. And when after the sun has set, and you've won you've won the cup, and you've celebrated, and then you start to reflect from the beginning. You saying this is the goal, this is what we want to do to win, and you realize all what you've been through to get to there, and in the manner in which you won.
Yeah.
And you reflect, man, it brings you back down to earth. It humbles you to know that.
Thanks to God.
If you believe, and that man above really, truly doesn't give you anything that you can handle. And he was with us during that period. And my team, we really played. I tell people it was beautiful. One of the first times I've seen a team so focused and committed to one goal, which was winning. I'm sorry, after watching The Last Dance, that we did not film that last World Cup. It would have been an epic movie, you know. But it was amazing, man.
It would have been awesome if you had like behind the scenes cameras going with you. That would have been some documentary to watch.
Yeah.
The camaraderie in that changing room that you had at that point. You were pretty much partying and playing cricket at the same time. It just looked like you were enjoying it every single match.
I'm telling you, you're doing this and it just comes natural to you. You're not doing anything that you're not used to.
Yeah,
It's something that's natural to us Caribbean folks,
yeah.
and it's it was amazing, man. Unfortunately, that's the last.
I'd imagine you
That's the
inspired.
last. Yeah, that's the last international game I actually played. Wow, it's been 4+ years. But it was an amazing journey, man. It was.
You must have come home to a big, big party when you got back to the Caribbean. I mean,
You bet.
think of how many young kids. I mean, I was an adult. I was an adult in my kind of middle, coming to the. I'm a year young, like a year younger than you. So I was getting on a bit, and I was just
Yeah.
inspired. Listening to your aftermatch interviews, the passion that you guys showed, it lifted spirits of just people around the world. So the Caribbean people must have been,
Of course, man.
so proud of. You should be, that's something that maybe they can still bring out some sort of movie down the line of the Great West End. Like the way they brought out the old what's
Fire in Babylon.
Fire in Babylon.
Fire in Babylon.
They should bring out something for those two World Cups, because you might never see it happen again. You might, to win. It's going to take something. I mean, the cricket is constantly evolving. Teams are getting better and better and better. So, and you had such a core of players at that point. It's not going to be easy to find
Yeah.
that core of players again. Moving on, then.
True. True.
Unfortunately, do you think, as a backlash, you were removed as captain after that because of what had kind of happened with the board? Was it still the same board? Were they upset with you because in 2016 you were dropped as Test captain?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, it was the last. I knew, and that's what I said in the speech. It could be the last time that this group played together, and it was.
Yep.
It was the last time that squad played together. And I don't regret it. If you, as a man, and as a proud black man, you got to stand up for what you believe in.
Yep.
If you stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
And I was not prepared to do that. What my team went through, the world had to know. Did it cost me my career? Yes, it did. But it's something that I'm proud of.
Was it worth it?
I
Was
wouldn't
it worth
have
it?
done it
I
any.
think, I think it was worth it, bro. It was worth it.
It was worth it. I was just about to tell you, if I had to do it all over again, I would do it and do it even better. There are certain things I forgot to mention up there because I was just talking.
Yeah.
But it's it 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 also showed the world that as a leader, you're not afraid to stand up for your team. You know, even in the moments of glory, and triumph, you still got to stand up for what's right.
Yep.
And I don't think what they did to us, as a group, it was not right, and the world needed to know. And like I said, I'm at peace, with my career. I was not supposed to be there, man. I mean, I'm a young. That's a kid who grew up in the dirt roads in Duga, Miku, in St. Lucia, to become a world champion.
Two-time champion.
Yeah. So I'm satisfied with what God has blessed me with. And yes, it probably cost my career, but that's how it was supposed to happen. And everything happens for a reason, and life goes on.
Life goes on indeed. I want to go on and talk to you about another country now. And my background, I'm a Lahori. My father is from Lahore. That's where I grew up. I went over and played in the Qaidi Azam Trophy in 2010, 2011. I'm very in love with, I love my country, Scotland. Actually, it's interesting. I want to talk to you about, just before we go into that, how were you feeling recently when Scotland were playing the West Indies in the World Cup qualifiers and we had you guys in some serious trouble, man?
Yeah, that was something. I think a few decisions went our way, man. A few good
Yeah,
ones.
the LBW
Yeah, yeah,
when the rain came.
yeah, but
That was my
yeah,
favorite. Richie Berrington that got given out. Ooh,
yeah,
I think it was going down leg.
yeah. But you know what? It just showed you how far back, how how far it took our cricket. You know, I mean, those qualifiers were in Zimbabwe. You know, I was watching closely. You know, it was sad that the history with West Indies cricket that we had to go through the qualifications.
Yeah.
To barely make it to the World Cup. But I think with proper administration and proper you know development and vision for cricket in the Caribbean, we could have been much better.
Yeah.
But
What do you
also
think?
we as players had to.
Sorry to interrupt you, bro. Continue. Sorry, I was just gonna ask you, what do you
Yeah,
think of?
I would say. Go ahead.
Sorry, man, I interrupted you. I was going to say that I see. What do you think of the fact that the World Cup has been made smaller? Do you not think that the game should be made bigger? That Scotland, Zimbabwe, Ireland, these kind of countries, they bring excitement to the World Cup.
Of course they do. And the game is evolving, and by restricting certain countries from playing, it could be disappointing. It could, like, imagine a young aspiring cricketer from Scotland, or let's say UAE,
Yeah.
and these places, wanting to play in the World Cup, because every athlete, whether it be cricketer, runner, the World Cup is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And to not have an opportunity to play, against some of the best in the world, it could be disappointing, you know. But I could also see where, if there's a system where, like in the Premier League, where there is, the Premier League, and then there's the Championship.
Yeah.
So now those are the championship, it becomes even more competitive, because two guys get to go up
Yeah.
and play in the big leagues. So it's how you it's there's pros and cons on both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think whatever decision that is being made has to put cricket first,
Yeah.
and not business.
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean, it has to be cricket first. And I think over the last few years, it has more tilted on the side of business first,
Yeah.
instead of cricket, and that's not right.
Yeah.
If you understand, we have some of the lesser teams like West Indies, New Zealand, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, all these guys struggling,
Yeah.
on the side of finance, maintaining the cricket, and the other countries like England, Australia, India, they get the better end of the stick,
Yeah.
So that there should be a way where, you know everybody gets that sort of attention, where, the head, which is ICC, is helping, to develop and better cricket in that region. And one of the biggest problems, especially for us over here, is finance. If we don't get the big free touring, the guys can make no money.
Yeah.
In that way, it becomes very difficult now to stop a young player, or even like a Kyron Pollard, to earning a living out there in the leagues.
Yeah.
Because when you play international cricket, you don't get to be as you don't get that financial reward
Mhm.
that you do in playing in the leagues. You see so many South Africans sign cold pack deals. You know, it's because of the pay structure.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, coming from the top, the guys, the big three get the big share of the money. So all this, there are so many factors influencing, you know, those sort of decisions. And I think, like I said, it's just been erring too much on the side of business than cricket first over the last few years.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It's a World Cup, and 10 teams. If you look at the Football World Cup, you get so many teams coming to the Football World Cup, and you get some great stories
Mhm.
coming out of the World Cup. And we've already seen
Yes, yes.
some great stories in the Cricket World Cup. The Irish, have had some amazing wins in the
The
World Cup.
Irish. Yes, yes, yes. They
So
have.
it
You
should be
know,
it should be encouraged, I think. And I do agree with you. I think it was a
I,
bit.
I yeah. I just, especially on the T20 side, you know, obviously with the Test championships and even in the one-day format, I could understand
Yeah,
like a division one or two. But when it comes to 2020, the shorter the games, the closer the teams are.
yeah,
If you understand what I mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So the 2020 World Cup should be where everybody gets to participate.
yeah,
You know, that's my feeling. You
yeah.
know, I'm not restricted to the 10 or whatever teams they have. The one day on the Test championships, I could understand they
Yeah.
going in that way. But when it comes to the T20 format, give everybody a chance to actually, you know, go out and play. It's just like the FA Cup, you know, in
Yeah,
England.
yeah,
You know, everybody gets a chance to compete, you
yeah.
know.
So yeah, back to something I just mentioned. Pakistan. Pakistan
Yeah,
Zindabad.
yes.
You, my friend,
That's
you,
that's why I'm
that's
wearing
why
this, man.
you're rocking that Shawakamis, brother.
Yes,
2017, you joined the PSL, which was initially getting played in Dubai, United Arab Emirates,
yes.
um, and you were probably one of the, along with people in the background, but you were such a massive ambassador to at least slowly take things forward. In the final, were for the first couple of years were played in Pakistan. And I remember in particular guys like another guy we just mentioned, Marlon Samuels. I remember a footage of you both in the airport after you were leaving, and he's got the army outfit on, the Pakistani army outfit. You guys, I've always wanted to say, I think I've said it to you in message or on Facebook before, but thank you to you guys, because you were the driving force to bring cricket back to Pakistan. You had so much love and passion. The fans had so much love for you. But talk to me about your love with the PSL and Pakistan in particular.
Yeah, it's a beautiful relationship,
Yeah,
you know. Um, the way they embrace me, especially, you know, obviously playing for Peshawar, and as I would find out, like Peshawar, what they went through as a region, you know, on that border, I think it is
yeah,
of
yeah,
Afghanistan, or
yeah,
there it is. What these people went through over the last decades or so. When once that Peshawar team came through, it was like a beacon of hope, a shining light, something to look forward to.
yeah,
And the fans were so passionate, and they embraced me. And you know, I've always played cricket really hard. Whichever team I play for, I give it my heart and soul. You
yeah,
know, win or loss, I will give my all. You know, and the love I received from them, it was just automatic to give back that love.
yeah,
You know, and you know, the more I played, the more I had an integral role in Peshawar's army team, and the way the franchise was, you know, growing. You know, uh, the first 2 years we had Afridi,
yeah,
Shahid Afridi with us, and you know, then I was made captain. But the way the franchise was growing, it was just getting even. I was getting even more passionate about the country. And when in the second year we had the finals in Pakistan, what I saw an experience. I saw a country desperate to have cricket. I saw fans passionate to see their icons, their heroes playing at home. And as a professional, as a cricketer, I know when I step out in the Daren Sammy cricket ground in St. Lucia, the energy I feel, where my people get to see me play right in front of their eyes. I almost, or I wouldn't say almost, I experienced that when I step out in Lahore,
Yeah.
in the
Gaddafi Stadium.
Gaddafi Stadium. When I step out there for the first time, I thought I was like in St. Lucia playing. So it gave me it got me even more connected with the people and entire Pakistan. And then I started thinking about what it would mean for me as a Pakistani fan, as a Pakistani, a young child, what it would mean to me to have the Misbahs, the Baba Azams, the Mohammed Amir and Shaheen Shah Afridi, all these guys playing in front of me,
Yeah.
And then that was it. Cricket and my passion for my game took me there. And if I am a Christian, and if you talk about forgiveness, something happened 10 years ago or 11 years ago, now it is. But the people are still suffering from that.
Yeah.
The steps and measures taken, to bring the cricket back.
Yeah.
It was terrible what happened. But you look at in Mumbai, they had Mumbai bombings.
Yeah.
England was in India at that time.
Yeah.
England probably stayed a week before, 2 weeks before in that same hotel or next to that same hotel. Cricket didn't stop in India.
Yeah.
I was in they had the London bombings before the Champions Trophy in 2017 or in 2014.
Yeah.
They had some bombings, some London attacks. Cricket didn't start. Recently in New Zealand,
Yeah.
they had the attack where the Bangladeshi team was there.
Yeah.
Cricket has not stopped there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Australia, they had the hostage situation in Melbourne or Sydney or in Melbourne or whichever.
Yeah.
Cricket never stopped. But I understand because the incident actually happened to a cricket team.
Yeah.
And I thought, here I wasn't feeling like I was not safe. That was just my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Until we started moving away, like going to the hotel where obviously the security, and that happens everywhere. You move with security.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, oh, I was in Pakistan. I just felt like I was like any other place in the world playing cricket. And I just gave my opinion
Yeah.
as to what I experienced. If that played a part in bringing cricket back to Pakistan, so be it. But I was just being honest about the people, about what I experienced, and the love. I have a love for the people, honestly,
Yeah.
because the way they've embraced me, it's like no other place.
Well,
You know?
clearly the
So
people
that
and
is something.
the people and the governing bodies have a lot of love for you
Yeah.
because 23rd of March 2020, you became one of my Pakistani brothers. I've got dual nationality. I'm British and I'm Pakistani. You became a citizen of Pakistan. The first
Yeah. Well, I have to because what had happened because of COVID-19. The ceremony have not taken place.
Yeah, but it's going to happen, bro.
So,
it's going to happen.
So yes, it will. It will happen. You know, it's when I sit back and I reflect. I live in a country where there's 170,000 people. Pakistan has about 230 million people, and to be given the Nishani-Pakistan Award, this guy from St. Lucia, it is a massive honor, massive achievement. And it is something I appreciate. And like I said, I did not do these things for recognition. It was like my passion, which is cricket, took me there, like I said earlier. And to be recognized in that way, it's something that's very dear to my heart, and Pakistan has, it has a special place in my heart. And whilst we're on Pakistan, I know it's Eid, happy Eid Mubarak to all the Pakistani and also
I've made a decision before you say what you're going to say. I was not going to launch this until a week or so down the line, but
you have to launch it today.
It's going today, brother. It's going today because it's Eid, and I think it's been such a man. You've been so you brought back. I remember you. I remember you, bro, when I played against you all those years ago, and you've always stayed humble. You still give me the time of day. I'm only a small, just a little guy in Glasgow, but. The passion, even speaking to you today, takes me back to when I first met you. You haven't changed a bit.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, my mom would not allow me, man. My parents raised me well. Plus, I understand, man, we all human beings, man. Doesn't matter how much you achieve in life. The way you treat people, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
You understand? At the end, when we all stop breathing, this guy doesn't get special treatment in the grave.
Yeah.
We all go down, 6 feet under. So it's just, there's no point in trying to not being humble. There's no point in not being humble, not remaining true to your friends. We both inhale the same air and breathe out the same air, so it comes natural to me. And especially the reason why you have to release this, today is, like you said, it's Eid. Plus, Pakistan is mourning right now, because, after all, to deal with this corona virus and then with the plane crash 2 days ago, that's tough, and condolences to all the members of the
actually, Sammy,
family members.
One thing I want to mention to you: the pilot is his brother. Is a dear friend of mine. He lives in Glasgow. We play club cricket together. His name is Amir Gul. So, Amir Gul, when you watch this, brother, I want my condolences to you and your family. It was such tragic news. Obviously, a lot of people died, 107 people, I believe. But to then hear that somebody so close to home, it really,
it's sad.
It's very sad indeed.
Yeah, definitely something that always brings the sadness. And like you, I would like to echo my sincere condolences to the people, the families of those involved in that tragic accident, and also to all of Pakistan. But only God alone knows. He controls all things, and in their celebration of Eid, just remember, that we all are so fortunate to have the breath of life, and give thanks to the Most High, man.
Daren, Sammy, you have been a champion, brother. I'm so proud to talk to you today. You've lifted me, I feel you've lifted me, and as I was listening, I was thinking this has got to go out today, because I've got so many people that I know are waiting to hear this, and I know how much you're going to lift their spirits. I think the people of Pakistan, you're going to lift their spirits as well. And honestly, I'm going to stop recording now, and I'll speak to you on the other side of this. But thank you very, very much for your time, and I hope everybody is.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You've been box office. Thank you, Sammy.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me. God bless, man.